81333, start your message with 3CR. I want to know, I mean, I've incurred the wrath of Take That fans. I really have. Even though I like Take That, I've been to see them a couple of times myself. But Greatest Days at the cinema, the Take That musical film, what a load of old guff. Honestly, I'm so angry. I can't get that time back, and I certainly can't get my money back. It was awful. But since I posted that on social media, I found out that some people will not let you criticise some things that they love. And my next guest is my friend, but his job, and I speak to him every week on my show, he's a film reviewer. His name is Mr. Van Connor. There's nothing he doesn't know about films. Well, he's chipped in on this phoner, haven't you, Van?
Oh, how could I resist? Also, I mean, I'm with you on Greatest Days, because it's not the greatest, it's the worst of days, is what that movie is.
It is the worst of days. I could not believe it. I kept thinking, it'll get better in a minute. Maybe it'll get better. Even when there was a cameo of Take That in it, it didn't lift the film. It's awful.
You know, it's one of those. There was a point in which they were doing a full-blown musical number on the runway at Heathrow with an EasyJet prominently displayed behind them, and I was just sort of thinking that sums this. And I was watching that the day before the premiere that they had invited me to, and they had put on the invite proudly sponsored by P&O Cruises. And I was thinking, do you know, everything about this movie makes complete sense. Absolutely makes sense. Yeah.
Now, I did not realise that there is something that you cannot criticise in the presence of Mr. Van Connor, film reviewer. What is it, Van, that you will literally take someone outside if they start criticising?
I will take you outside and I will take you to the mattresses, to use the Godfather phrasing. If you even broach criticism on what I think is actually the crowning cinematic achievement of this century. You see, we've not been great for new franchises in this century outside of comic books, obviously, but there is one. There is one film series that I think has come to define the 21st century, for better and worse. It is, in fact, the Fast and Furious series, and I will hear no criticism of it. I can back up this argument. I can, in fact, go to bat for what a lot of people seem to think they're being quite clever in deriding as the dumbest movie series ever made.
Well, I perhaps wouldn't say dumbest, but aren't we on Fast and Furious 2005 edition? I don't know. I mean, how many can you make? What number are we up to now?
Well, there are actually two answers to this question. So there are actually 10 Fast and Furious movies at present.
Yeah.
We are going to end on 11, I believe, or 12, depending on what mood Vin Diesel is in that day. But there are also two spin-off movies. We had Hobbs and Shaw back in 2019, which was awesome. And then we've got another Hobbs spin-off called Hobbs and Reyes, which is coming out, I think, next year or the year after. So it's either going to wind up being 14, it's either going to be 13, it's either going to be 13 or 14, depending.
If when you come across, because obviously you go to all the premieres and this, that, and the other, and you come across people in your business of film reviewing, and I imagine people can perhaps be a bit sniffy about the Fast and Furious, and maybe And when you come across those people, Van, what do you do to them?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I can actually repeat on radio, if I'm really honest. I have said some quite depraved things to other film critics who have been sniffy about the Fast and Furious. One critic did tell me they would never be seen dead watching one of them. And then because of the pandemic and the fact that we had very few films out, one of the very first films that they released afterwards was F9, was the 9th one of these. And I ran into the same critic outside the cinema for the screening for that. And I was like, Oh, the sound of the other shoe. I see how that works. Oh, not so idiotic now when we're running out of options, are they? I'm like, seen the other 8, have we? And the answer was no. I'm like, so how are we reviewing this one? Eh?
Was his voice muffled while he was choking on eating his own heart?
Well, first of all, you assumed gender wrongly on that one,
Ah,
and to be honest, I didn't know. I give these people so little thought because they give the greatest franchise of the 21st century so little thought that I can only respond in kind. You know how
mm,
the thing about the Fast and Furious series is, you're not being clever
mm.
to point out that a film series that's been around for 22 years and knows that it's stupid is stupid. If you don't get it after 22 years, it's you that's stupid. These movies have made more than $7 billion. They feature the most diverse cast roster that has ever been put on a cinema screen. I mean, literally, these things ship all around the world. They go down with audiences the planet wide. And best of all, they gave a platform to the most hilarious and entertaining narcissist to ever have a camera put in front of him in the form of Vin Diesel, who you could literally write a book on at this stage. And then just for the cherry on top, we have the genius that was the late great Paul Walker trying to pull off the phrase "forget about it, cuh," which is just gold.
Right. So just to be clear, if you're in the
Mm,
presence of Van Connor, don't
yeah,
don't don't you dare go in on the Fast and Furious films. Don't you dare
yeah.
try and dig him out because he will have you by the throat, I think.
Look, they're a theme park ride. They know they're a theme park ride. No, I mean, despite what some Universal exec seems to be convincing Vin Diesel of, is there's this weird thing where Vin Diesel seems to have been told over and over by some unnamed Universal exec that if they didn't have numbers in the title, these things would be Best Picture winners. You're like, okay, somebody's trolling you, Vin. Somebody is trolling you, my boy, and you are buying into the rest of the cast. It's worth noting are very upfront and very in on the gag here. They seem to know, look, these things make billions of dollars. That's why we
Yeah.
keep making them. We know they're
Yeah.
not any good. We know they're
Yeah.
not masterpieces. They're theme park rides. But if you're going on a roller coaster and then coming off the roller coaster afterwards saying, "Oh, it wasn't Shakespeare," I would ask, "What did you expect off a roller coaster?" You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, man.
you're going into Disneyland expecting thespian quality. What you're the wrong party here. It's not the movie that's doing that.
Oh, can you hear his anger and his ire? It is just brilliant.
This is 2+ decades of just festering rage pouring out of me at this stage.
I
They gave
love this.
Tyrese a platform, man. I mean, they deserve props just for that.
These are the sort of calls I want. This is the sort of passion I want. What is it in your life that in no way will you let someone criticize? Is it like Van? Is it a film? Is it your football team? Is it, I don't know, your favorite celebrity? Is it your favorite band, your pop star? It might even be food, a place. I don't care what it is. If you've got the sort of passion that Van has got for the Fast and
Very
Furious,
few do.
then can you call me? Because this is just funny. 08081 008800.
I will tell you one more, Babs. Though I
Go
tell you,
on.
I will refuse. I will refuse to hear any criticism of the Fast and Furious series from anybody who will freely admit to being a fan of either the DCEU movies or the Harry Potter franchise. I'm sorry, if you'll swallow any of that drivel and you're coming after my boy Vin and the family, then I'm sorry, no.
This is what I want. I want a big, like, out on Grove Park in the centre of Dunstable. I want all the Harry Potter fans to,
In the
to sort
car
of
park right now.
square up to all the Fast and Furious fans. Come on, let's have it. Fan, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day.
You too, Babs. Pleasure.
Thanks, babe. Bye.